to make money on cars, there are two major schools of thought. One is early stage identification, the seed money in the startup, finding something that's very, very early stage, clearly massively undervalued, and to buy a bunch of them and advocate for them and have the unwavering, unflinching belief that one day there will be a lot of people who share that same perspective as you. The way that I believed in XJR15s and a handful of other cars, the way that Ed has believed in LP640 manuals, so on and so forth. Then there's the good old momentum trade, which it sounds negative when I say it, but it's really not. Because if we look at, I'm not just talking about cars, if we look at equities, if we look at like basically every single form of investable asset over time, identifying a groundswell, seeing the momentum building and beginning, hopping on the train, and riding that thing all the way down, oftentimes produces far better results than being the early stage investor. The benefit of identifying that groundswell and participating in that groundswell is manifold. I mean, when you're buying something early stage, you basically you have to be prepared to hang on for a while. Whereas when you are buying in on a momentum trade, at a moment's notice, there is generally someone who's willing to buy your object, your asset, etc., for a fair, sensible market value. So with all of that out of the way, we come to the absolutely amazing, incredible Nero DS on red Ferrari Enzo that I purchased earlier this year. One of 3 USA cars in Nero DS on red. One of 12 USA Nero DS cars. I was 15 years old when the Enzo first came out. I mean, that is as formative a time as you could possibly conceive of. And the Enzo was everything that Ferrari represented in one of their brightest shining periods in their history. I mean, Montezemolo had them on fire. I mean, the F1 team was killing it. Every car they were putting out was awesome. Everyone wanted their stuff. And then comes the Enzo. It is the distillate of everything that is Ferrari. And it left a massive lasting impact on me. I mean, I'll be honest, when I first saw it in photos, I didn't get it. But then, and I'll never forget this, I saw Tommy Hilfiger's Enzo parked on a street. And I would have been less surprised if someone had fallen out of the sky, popped up, and slapped me in the face. That car shocked me. It looked so good. It looked so amazing. The idea that later in life, I would be in a position to have had multiple Enzos. It was just something I couldn't have even conceived of. And again, I feel so privileged to be able to say that. But this black Enzo, and not all Enzos are equal. And I'm not a huge black car guy, but an Enzo in black, man, is that just, it's just the best. Getting this car was a significant moment because it's not like in 2025 people were looking at Enzos and going, oh, those are ridiculous cars that no one wants. An Enzo has been a desirable asset for a very long time. It is an integral part of the most important, significant car vertical of all time. And to have that car in a color just elevates it so high. To me, far beyond miles or anything else. But having the ability to buy that car, it wasn't like I was identifying something that no one else saw. And Enzo's been a known and desirable thing for a very long time. But the momentum trade is a valid trade. My job as a car dealer, what my clients pay me for, what my job is to present to people, are the most special versions of the most special cars on the planet. And that is what this car was. And so when I saw it, I didn't hesitate. I saw a fantastic car that had been lovingly cared for by its same owner for 13 years, wearing original paint, screaming everywhere in an absolutely sensational color combination, well maintained. I mean, I had to have it. I had to buy the car. I get this car, and then the next step is, how do I deal with it? Because Enzos have now gotten to a place that, as much as I love them, and believe you me, I love the Ferrari Enzo. It is an exceptional car. As a car dealer, I cannot afford to keep this car as a personal collection vehicle for an indeterminate amount of time. I cannot just tie up that amount of capital, unfortunately. I wound up in a position where, because I had bought this thing that was incredibly desirable, I had a significant number of clients who were interested in owning it, which then presents me with a conundrum, because if I give this car to someone, then I'm going to have a whole bunch of other guys who are going to be genuinely, legitimately angry with me. And that is a problem. And if I am personally responsible and hold a private auction amongst my clients, that's a great way to just anger everyone. The most sensible solution, in my mind, because I could not afford to keep this car, and because there was a great deal of interest on behalf of a number of clients of mine, and because I knew that there would be plenty of other people whom I may not know yet who would be interested in this car, there are some times where, even though I'm a car dealer, it makes more sense to bring in another party to partner with the sale of a vehicle. And that is exactly what I did with this. I called my friends over at Broad Arrow Auctions and said, "Hey guys, I have a car I think you're gonna want." So we came to an agreement, and we are selling this car in partnership together. And I think that is the most fair, most equitable way to deal with the issue of having a car that is part of an active groundswell, is to let them all have a fair shot at it. And the justification for getting in now is, and again, as much as I'd love to keep this car, I can't afford to. However, if I could afford to keep this car, I would. Because the Enzo, again, is a definitive piece of the most significant sports super or hypercar vertical of all time. And finding a beautiful, clean, no accident, no stories Enzo that's in a color is extremely, extremely unusual. And with the way that the world and the market has changed, and the number of people who are now seeing and appreciating these cars, not just as cars, but as art, and purchasing them as alternative assets and as art, the number of people who are going to be narrowly and singularly focused on collecting the best pieces of that Ferrari set, those guys are not going away. Even though the Enzo is now an 8-figure car, which I am not trying to trivialize, that is an incredible amount of money. Because of the rarefied air that the number of new players in this space are breathing, having a best of the best example of one of those cars, even in 8-figure territory, I still feel is an extremely shrewd, extremely well-placed purchase. Because if we look at the broader macroeconomic picture, how many people are making money as a result of crypto, AI, the way the economy is changing and evolving? Having one of the most identifiably and obviously special vehicles of the modern era is a great way to just throw a stake in the ground and say, I am here, I am not going anywhere, deal with me. That is what a purchase of this magnitude states. Because of that, while the Enzo has gone up a lot in value, it is, I still believe a very shrewd purchase. And look, if we look back to not even distant history, if we look in late 2016, when the sports and supercar market had just hit a peak, there was, for example, I had sold a paint to sample sub-1,000-mile Carrera GT, and I had sold that car for $1.1 million. Today, that would be the bargain of the century. In that moment, people said, oh, well, a Carrera GT just a few years ago would have been $400,000. You must be insane paying $1.1 million. Who's laughing now?
The Ticket Clinic just launched a brand new podcast, so click the bubble on your screen or the link in the description to subscribe now and get all of Mark Gold's great expertise. And of course, the Ticket Clinic is still here to fight a ticket no matter where you get one. So check them out now to thank them for their support of VINwiki and fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.